Second Cup, brought to you by the Nickel Plate. Sit, sip, savor, and shop.
Taking my car to get the windshield fixed.
Oh, what a guy. That Paul, I even said to Katie.
You know what's funny? He said the same thing.
We were talking about it in the car yesterday on the way back from WUFO, and that was so nice of him. Like, it's really, to me, that goes such a long way.
Oh my God. I'm never going to hear the end of this if you watch the Second Cup today.
Oh, I'm going to text him right now that he should watch.
I was sleeping. But yes, that was nice. He took my car over. It's not like I don't do nice things for him, though.
I have a
I'd
question.
just like to say,
what is your love language?
acts of service.
And that is it.
Mhm.
Okay. I guess I'm an acts of service kind of guy. I'm a words of affirmation,
Uh-huh.
and I'm a gifts guy.
Uh-huh.
Those are the two things that I absolutely love. Like, so if you think of,
I love gifts.
I love getting gifts, but I love the thought of a gift.
Have you had to read this book, or have you read this book?
I've actually never read it. I was talking to a therapist, in all honesty, about love languages.
They probably read the book. Yeah.
Because what is it, like the Gottlieb or something like that? Some weirdo guy who's like, I'm gonna find the 5 love languages.
5 love languages. Yeah, we read it for pre-Cana.
But I love having somebody think of me when they see something and be like, oh, Ed would really like this, and I'm just gonna get it to him and give it to him randomly.
Yeah.
That makes me so warm, and like I feel so good after
acts
that.
of service. If I come home and like the clothes are all put away, the laundry is done, the living room looks nice, the kitchen isn't cluttered, I'm like, ah.
Okay, so is it just acts of service?
That's one of them, I
Okay,
think.
what's the other one? What's your other one?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's mostly just that one.
Okay, well, now you know.
Get stuff done.
Do your job.
Like DYJ.
I also love words of affirmation, like, oh, wow, those pants look really good on you today. Or, wow, you look skinny today. Or, wow, Ed, your arms look great.
I feel like women tend to lean towards the act of service because, like, I don't know, like, I feel like when it comes to like your traditional marriage, let's say,
a trad marriage,
I feel like women take on the majority of the household tasks. So then when somebody does them for them, they're like, that's amazing. I don't know if that's true. Like, is it true in your marriage?
Okay, well,
but everybody also does their own things too. Like, correct. Paul does the outside of the house for the most part. And I got to say, like, I'll plant some flowers, I'll do whatever, but like he's mowing the lawn. It just depends, I guess, on what works for you.
Russ would say it's division of responsibilities.
Edward. Thank you, Russell. That's a fantastic way to put it. Division of responsibilities. I like that.
Danielle says total acts of service, doing things without being asked.
Yes. When you can come in, look at the scenario and be like, I can see what has to be finished here and what has to be completed.
Right.
This cord is stuck. There we go. Yes, that's amazing.
Aaron loves quality time.
Yeah, and physical touch is one too.
Yes, it sure is. Mm-hmm. Jason says, my love language is also words of affirmation. Maureen just loves that we're laughing. I mean, like, look, this is a great time. Yeah. That's why we love Second Cup. Kim just said, my husband told me I feel better when you're here with me. That is so sweet.
That's nice.
Words of affirmation, for sure.
I love that.
Oh my gosh. Russell is a physical touch guy.
Yes, that's Paul.
Oh my God. He loves, like,
we had to do this. Like, I don't know if anybody else did pre-Cana, like if you got married in the Catholic Church, like.
No, we did not.
No. Oh, you didn't? That's so strange.
Riddle me that.
That's so strange. Anyways, we had to read the book and then you had to like discuss it. And so that was like, that's like how we know. Let me be very clear. Like normally my husband wouldn't know what his love language is. Like this is not a book. He'd be like, this looks great. But you know, it's interesting.
Pat says active kindness to strangers. Aaron says when you're with your partner and you can just turn off your brain with them, it's the best.
Your mom is so funny. Leave me alone and I'm happy. She likes
She's not kidding either. She loves just being by herself in absolute solitude.
Sometimes moments like that are lovely.
Well, so, you know, it's interesting that we're having this conversation right now because on some dating apps, dating apps, people are now able to pick and choose different stickers. And I wonder if you've seen this on any of the apps that you've been on, if you're on these apps. people are saying, okay, I am voting this way, or I'm voting that way, or here's my affiliation, or here's the one thing that's driving me to vote.
If you're on an app, or maybe you've been on a dating app, maybe you've done this in the past, like, would you be more likely to match with somebody or be interested in somebody who has the same political beliefs as you?
I don't know that I would ever just put it out there.
That's an interesting upfront thing to find out about somebody.
Right?
Right.
And maybe that's a turnoff, but I feel like you would want to like is it the be all end all?
I don't know. Like, I know a lot of couples who have different political beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really do. And so my question is, like, something like that would mean that those couples are not together. Do you know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't be together. Like, somehow they've managed to work through their different political beliefs over the years.
And so, Melly, I'm wondering, you're doubling down saying, yes, it is. Is it make or break, or is it something that's just like very upfront that you're not necessarily comfortable with?
And like, isn't this something that in the past, like let's say you went on a blind date with somebody. Ed sends me up with his buddy. Like, he's a good guy, you know, whatever. I get the very basics. I go out.
Sorry, he's gay.
It didn't work. But so we go out. Okay. Chances are, like, if I just met your friend who you said he's a good guy, he's a nice person, he's whatever, I wouldn't be asking about his political beliefs, I don't think, for a little while. Like, I might be gathering some information, but I don't
know what you're saying.
Yeah, but like, does this like deter some couples that could have been?
Howard says politics should not be a deciding factor in a relationship. Peter says personally, political affiliation is not a breakdown. Melly was responding to a comment. Oh, okay, thank you. Jennifer says we've been married 35 years. We honestly don't talk too much about it. Interesting.
Yeah.
Paula says it depends on how strong their beliefs are and how flexible they are with a significant other supporting a different candidate.
Right.
Kenneth says there are certain political beliefs that I wouldn't get along with, especially if politics were super important to them. Like what, Kenneth? Like, what is it that is super important to you that if the opposite were super important to them, it wouldn't work? I'm interested.
Pat says it's a deal breaker.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So my mom and dad are a house divided. Literally, I mean, my dad is so
I know a lot of couples like this.
Yes.
Do you know what I also think is funny?
What?
When it comes to a house divided, at the end of the day, you're just canceling each other out.
Exactly.
So like, if the one person is like, well, I really believe this, I really believe that, like, you're just like, whatever, I'm just going to cancel you out anyways. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? When you're voting, like, if you vote two opposite ways, you're just like, well.
Lauren says, Brian and I have the same beliefs. Luckily, Elizabeth says, I'm super political. My husband doesn't care. It works for us. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Politics and religion, Jason says, are the root of all evil. Sarah says, unless you're the type of person where it's a deal breaker, it's not the case for everyone. I could never be with someone in the Trump cult. Ooh, wow, that's strong. They're against everything I believe in. I'm sure people would say the same thing about Harris.
Kim says they're married 45 years on the same page.
Okay.
Now, Joyce's first question, do you want kids? Joyce, would you go on a first date and ask somebody that? Boom, right off the bat. Maybe as you get older. That's a big one.
Sure is.
You go on a blind date, you're like, it is so nice to meet you. Let me ask you.
And what if you say no?
No, okay. Here's the question, Cuppies. Is Joyce's question, do you want kids, a bigger deal breaker than politics? Because politics,
they could change. You can waver.
You might feel different ways about different issues. You might feel differently about different candidates too. Because like some candidates, you know what I mean? So over the years, that could change. That's a question that maybe some people change their mind on, but like, right.
Pretty like set in stone.
You kind of want to feel like you're in the same like ballpark as somebody.
Right.
Because if you're going to go ahead with a relationship, like that is a big change for it.
You know what? This is one I never thought about, Jeanette says. If you don't want kids, then that's fine. But Jeanette, I feel like you need to find somebody who's probably on that same page.
Kim says it's a question for a little bit later on. Yeah, okay. Like maybe not like maybe it's not first date territory.
Right. No, and I get
give
that.
It a break. Yeah.
Oh yeah, need to know if they want kids because that's a deal breaker, Danielle says. Kids.
Wait, I like Peters. Kids. Does that include for kids? That's another, I'm sorry, that would be a make or break for me.
That's what Jennifer's saying.
Thank you, Jennifer. Like, that would be a make or break for me. Like, if you don't like dogs, like if I was with somebody who just didn't like dogs, I would just be like,
pass.
This is not going to work. Like, I just love
So nice meeting you.
I just love dogs so much.
Howard, to your point, Katie, don't put the cart before the horse on the first date unless you're desperate or aging fast. Well, and that's the truth. Like, if you're of a certain age, you know, does that factor in. Like if you're
Yes.
marrying later in life, and I wonder maybe you have children or you've got adult children.
I also think that your priorities change a little bit.
Sure
later in
thing.
life. Like you might date some people when you're younger that you wouldn't date when you're older. Someone like you. My dad doesn't like dogs. I forgot about that. And you know what? It was a struggle for me growing up. I asked for a puppy every year.
Oh, what did your
every
dad
day.
say? This is the best story.
No, he told me. My mom's gonna die if I say this.
No, come on, MB. It's such a funny story.
He was very frank. He told me I couldn't have a dog
He's
because
Bob.
he didn't like the mess that they made, basically.
But what did he say?
He would say they would come in. I don't want to say.
Oh my God, it's so good.
He would rub their genitals on the carpet or like whatever. And like, you know, they like, I was a little kid and he was being very politically correct. And like, they would scoot their butt and like, oh my God, why'd you make me say it? But he would say that. And so we did not have a dog growing up. You always had a dog.
Well, we had a dog when we were able to take care of it as like
That was
grown
and
children.
I will say that's another point that my dad used to make. He's like, I'm not going to take, he didn't really like that. Like, I'm not going to take care of the dog that I don't really want. Oh my God. But my mom had a dog when they started dating. And so that was like, oh,
That is so, see, everyone thinks it's funny.
it is funny, but oh my God. I'm sorry. He did say that when I was little. It's so embarrassing. It was very sweet and very politically correct. And it was a very good reason as to why I wasn't allowed to have
Very
a dog when I was
diplomatic,
little. Yes,
Bob.
it was diplomatic. Yes.
Oh God, that is so funny.
Okay, Sheila's going back to our politics conversation. It is funny though. Like I'm like, oh yeah, I could never be with someone who doesn't like a dog. I'm like, oh, your dad. Like, oh, yes, I did. I get it if you're not a dog person. I do get it because I love my dog to pieces. But boy, they can be messy.
They sure can. And you know what? You're right. He's right. Especially when they need to have.
You know what bothers me the most? The fur.
Right.
Yours doesn't shed.
No.
My dog sheds. We have the what's it called? The Roomba vacuum, whatever, one of those. But I still pull out that like good vacuum, and I really vacuum. Because,
You have to.
Yeah.
Howard says, I just picked up poo from the floor this morning. It's a bit messy at times, but my dog has dementia now and forgets what to do.
Your mom
That's so
calls it
sad.
the poop scoot.
It's true.
Yeah.
You know, when they slide against the floor and, they're just dragging and making a path, you know what's going on.
Yeah, I would say that just the hair definitely drives me nuts. But also, have you seen that thing on Instagram where they're like, it's like God pretending to give you a dog, and it's like, here is a dog, it'll eat your food, it'll this, and the human's like, it can sleep in my bed. Like, I love it. Yeah.
Sarah says, my compromise is getting a dog was just one that doesn't shed. And that's, I think, fair. That's kind of what we did too.
Yeah.
I
didn't think Bandit would shed as much as he does. And I will say, like, out of this scheme of sheddy dogs, he's not that bad. He's got like little white fur. He's not like a golden retriever or like a German Shepherd. They really shed. But that white fur, I have dark floors.
Well, and so you see it.
Sure do.
Yeah. Well,
who doesn't see it? My husband.
I'm sure he does, just doesn't vacuum it up. Georgia says this, if I couldn't have a dog, the other half would be out the door.
Yeah.
There you go. Bye-bye. Divorce Central. Brittany says,
Divorce.
come on, don't you feel cute walking down the street with a warm bag of poo? You know what? I don't even think about it. I don't.
Yeah, it doesn't really. Like, I mean, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but it doesn't really bother me. I'm like, that's poop.
I was walking with the girls. Alana was sleeping over, and I'm like, okay, she loves walking the dog, which I think is adorable.
Yeah, that is cute.
She
want to come walk Bandit?
Well, yeah, right. Bandit would drag her. But I'm like, okay, Alana, the person who walks the dog is the person who has to pick up the poo. And she goes, no. It was cute. Needless to say, I picked it up. TD says, no dogs here. We have cats, but they shed too. I gotta be honest with you. Like, I'm really not a cat person, but my sister has a cat and a dog, and you kind of just warm up to them, I think.
Yes. Paula says, Katie, the dog is a blessing. Look how clean your house is. Sometimes.
There
Sometimes. No, the dog is always a blessing. The house is clean sometimes. I'd like to clarify.
Speaking of standing and walking, how about this one? Do you have a regular desk at work, like one of these where you kind of sit there, you're on your computer, you're doing your whole thing? Or do you have one of those standing desks that were a hot trend for a while?
Those things were all the rage.
Right.
Like people around here were getting their standing desks. They couldn't stop talking. They like loved their standing desks. We wanted them, remember?
Vaguely. For a little while, I think we did.
And then they were like, no.
Right.
Because like it wasn't going to work for us, really.
The reality is they're no different than the desk that you're sitting at, is what this new study says.
They're saying that like there's health issues for standing, there's health issues for sitting. Like,
just don't work and you'll be fine.
Ed's come up with a solution for all of us. We just need to not work.
Kelsey says at Dispatch, we have the standing adjustable ones. And then she also got a walking pad to go under it.
Okay.
Danielle says I have a desk riser so I can lift it if I want to.
Okay, so this basically said there's no health benefits. It could cause health risks. Apparently, standing for long periods of time increases your chance of circulatory issues.
But Lynn says that it helps so much because she has that standing desk. Hers is 6 feet by 4 feet.
You know what I think is good? The kind that Shannon has. It goes up and down.
Right, so that you're not just standing.
So you can like do a little bit of both.
Well, we've got that one in the Zoom room here too.
Yeah, that goes up.
It's like
down.
you press a button and it just goes.
No, that's the fancy kind. The other kind you just like.
Well, we're only getting the fancy kind around here. We got a lot of money to spend. Brittany says I have a traditional desk and I'm a fan of a rolling chair. Okay. Marguerite had a standing adjustable desk. It was great, but she's happily retired now.
Paula says her daughter has a standing desk with a walking pad. That's what Beauvais has.
Right. I mean, is that just like, what are you actually getting out of that? I have
well, at least you're moving your legs. I feel like, I mean, it's not like you're getting a workout in, but you're like getting your legs going. Sometimes you're like, I've been sitting here for so long. We used to stand every day, remember?
Leah gets up and she just walks around the building.
Leah's a walker. Yeah. She walks, she'll go outside and like talk on the phone and walk around.
Yeah. You don't even realize that she's got something in her ear.
Yeah.
And she's just constantly talking, which, I mean, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love her, but you're like, are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Brittany wondering, do you guys have the elliptical for under your desk? Is that like a little pedal thing?
Some people had that. Someone had that. Oh, I know. Jason Toriano, who I used to work with, had that.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a kick out of it.
Shannon has one too. I don't know that she uses it, but oh my God, my friend Pam.
Does she have the treadmill too? She might.
I don't know. Pam Lent used to have one.
Yeah.
You know Pam, right? Okay, so Pam Lent now works for the state. Honestly, she was one of the best bosses I ever had. When I worked at Channel 4, she was tough, but like really was a great mentor. And I really, really learned so much from her. But she had one of those bike things too.
She yelling at you, biking?
I don't even think she used it. I think it was sitting on the other side of her office.
That's the thing. Like they're kind of like a nice novelty to have for a little bit. And then they kind of just become like, oh yeah, that thing.
Marguerite says Ed has a fan under his desk. Katie needs a heater. No kidding. I literally have the fan right here under the desk.
I used to have a heater at my old desk. I should bring another one in.
My mom was wondering what's a walking pad.
It's like a little treadmill, basically. It's like a little bit smaller than a treadmill, and it just sits under your standing desk so you can be walking while you're working. And Matt Beauvais has one.
I think I would have a hard time with that.
He likes it. It's a little remote control that like starts it, that gets it going.
Because here's my thought on this. Like, I would have a hard time typing and walking. You know what I mean? Like I don't know that it would work for me.
Yeah, you might get used to it.
Interesting. Like the two things at once, I'm totally cool with doing, but like those are two faculties that kind of don't go hand in hand.
Kim says it's good to move around from sitting to standing, maybe not for long periods of time. Howard made me, I was laughing with his comment over here. Where did he put his comment? He gets up from his desk every half an hour to go have a smoke. Great exercise. Hey. Howard.
That's like Jeff Poth. Jeff Poth is standing more than he's sitting, frankly, smoking somewhere. But your watch, if you have an Apple Watch, it reminds you to get up every now and then.
Lori says you got to hold on to something while you're walking. Elizabeth said she'd fall off of it. She's not coordinated enough.
And that's my point.
Yeah.
I can barely walk and talk, let alone on a treadmill and type things. Tim says I would trip on one of those things. Melly, you're sweet. Thank you very much, Melly. God knows what I'd be typing if I had a walking pad under the desk. Marguerite says, me too.
But you know what? We stood. I bet you'd get used to it. Like we stood and did everything. Like I know you're standing in one place, but I don't know. You might get used to it.
It's interesting. It's an interesting conversation. Maybe you'd have to try it out.
Yes.
Steal Beauvais.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Beauvais, how about those Bills? The Bills have a big weekend against the Titans on Sunday. It's a 1:00 home game. I am going.
It's going to be a nice day.
Which is exactly why I want to go.
You might want to think about putting on a little bit of sunscreen.
Don't forget your sunscreen.
I'm just saying, because when you come in the next day and you're like, I got so red at the game, I'm going to be like,
yes.
I know.
I'll put moisturizer on it. It's got some SPF in it.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not the one that you gave me, but the one that I have at home.
Yeah.
Definitely does.
Throw a little bit of that on.
Yeah, because it's going to be sunny. I'm looking forward to that. Sarah says, oh, yeah, I'm going to the game too. And Hamilton tonight. My parents saw it at Shays on Wednesday. They loved it.
Good. Have they seen it before?
No, that was their first time.
Oh, nice.
They saw it on Disney Plus, obviously.
Yeah.
But Melly says, I need more sun. Plan on being in it all weekend.
Yeah,
Lydia
I
says,
want to
go
be outside.
Bills.
I got outside stuff to do this weekend too. And Paul does most of it, like the whatever, but we gotta clean up the outdoor area.
Can I ask a question?
It's time to put the stuff away.
Well, here's my other question about that. Like, yes, you're putting the stuff away, but are you using these weekends, like these really nice fall weekends, to maybe get the Christmas decorations up? Like, put
a lot of people do that. For us, no, because I don't put a lot of lights out. We do. Paul does put lights out actually though, so maybe he will. I don't know. We're not that organized usually. Like we'll do it like in December, but I do like to put the fall stuff, like the summer stuff. We have like nice patio furniture.
Yeah.
And I want it to stay nice, so I just always put it in the basement. And then everybody complains that they have to carry it down to the basement.
But that's what you have to do.
But that's what you have to do. Keep it nice.
Kelsey, my Grinch of a husband won't let me put them up until Thanksgiving, so I freeze. Paul is pulling the flowers from the pots and dismantling the gazebo.
Yep.
And the patio furniture. My mom would say it's a gazebo.
That's like exactly what I'm going to be doing. And I have some flowers that are still there. I might leave a couple of the flowers. They're actually still blooming, the marigolds.
Carlos, good morning to you. I think this might be one of the first times we're hearing from you. Glad to have you along for the ride. We do this every single morning at 8 o'clock. I'm taking my small boat out before it gets winterized next Saturday. So we've had the boat out of the water for
sadness.
Yeah, a few weeks now.
Yeah.
But it was like that last nice day before we got all of that rain that we started cleaning everything up at the beginning of the month.
Kim waits until after Thanksgiving for Christmas decorations. I do for like anything inside, but I wouldn't be opposed to throwing the lights on the outside.
Well, and to Joyce's point, what's the hurry anyway with Christmas decorations? I don't know that there's a hurry. I just thought that it's like a good use of your time.
My dad always liked to do it when it was nice out. He'd be like, it's a nice weekend. We should put the Christmas the Christmas lights out. And they'd just get it done. It's not like they're turning them on.
No, right.
They just leave them on.
But like, then you maybe leave them up until, I don't know about you, but
oh God, to like
March,
yeah.
Right? Because then you don't want to go outside after Christmas.
No. Can I tell you what I hate too? I hate when like the day after Christmas, everything's just people like the stores turn, like everything is no more Christmas anymore.
Right.
I hate that.
I know, it's like bah humbug.
I don't start celebrating until like December or like getting ready and stuff. So like I want it to last a little bit into January.
I agree. I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, stop ripping it away from me.
Well, you know what Taylor Swift says? You can leave the Christmas lights up till January.
Thank goodness.
Nancy says Thanksgiving is late this year, so one last week of decorations. So get them out early.
Yeah.
Kelsey, because I'll hear the complaining when I ask him to help in a month.
Connie brings up that good point too. It's like, remember, like all the stations that switch over, like some of them switch over,
the day after
and
Christmas.
then it's done. And you're like, no, this was just yesterday. I haven't even put my new shirt on yet. You know,
Danielle says, I got to take down all my spring decor, finish taking down the pool and putting it away, and harvest most of my garden.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's someone who has this really like intense garden on the street over from us. It's so cool because in North Buffalo, like they planted all around their house.
Oh, that's nice.
They're like, I don't know if they're pumpkin or squash, but I mean, it grows out on all the sides of their house. It's really cool. But I noticed they were doing that. Their garbage can was full of stuff.
All things considered, there's a frost. So a lot of the growing and a lot of the harvesting is kind of over.
Wrapping up.
So
look at your dad. Decorations should all come down on 12/26.
Well, but you know what though? Hanukkah goes into the new year. So I mean, the holiday season continues well into January.
Holiday season continues. Are your parents in different rooms? Do you think while they're commenting on this?
100%.
That is so
They are either still in bed or my mom is upstairs, my dad is downstairs. They love being apart from each other.
They're living their love language.
Right. And then they'll come together for dinner.
I got to see them sometimes. I haven't
They're
seen
hysterical. Joyce says, my grass has frost on it this morning. Yeah, we got that advisory this morning, so keep that in mind. A little chilly to start the day, but hey, this weekend is looking spectacular.
I know.
I love that.
I'm so looking forward to just like being outside, enjoying the weather, and enjoying that Bills game at 1.
No kidding.
Like I can finally. I didn't watch the last one.
No, me neither. It was too late, and it's
sleeping.
exhausting. Right. Anyway, we got to get the show on the road. We got to get back on TV. Hope you're off to a great start on this Friday. We'll see you right back here on Monday. Go Bills.
Go Bill.